So I just want to start this off by saying, I'm not Amish or anything. I'm not like a weird guy who's like, oh, I hate phones. And I think everyone should go back to a phoneless society. Like, I think it's good that you can, really connect to friends that are several hundreds of miles away, or your grandparents that live 5 or 6 hours away. I think that's really cool. But I think more so what I have a problem with is really the phone addiction that everyone kind of has. And I'm not even going to lie, like I have one too. I'm on Instagram Reels half the time, and half of my vocabulary consists of things that I've really found off Insta Reels, like, tiki, and like, 6'7", or, whatever you're finding on there. So in a weird way, it's almost like hypocritical for me to kind of complain because I'm like a primary consumer. But at the same time, I was thinking back to my childhood earlier, and I thought about just how good it was. And I think a lot of that was because phones weren't really mainstream. You know what I mean? Like obviously phones existed. It's not like I was born 50 years ago, but it's like no one was like addicted. And I think that's really really what I'm talking about. It's not even really about phones being around. It's more so like the phone addiction that I'm referring to. Because when I was growing up, it was non-existent. Like I had a great childhood. I'd go to school, come home from school. I'd go over to my cousin's house, who literally lived 2 houses down. It was kind of nice because, let me go and paint the picture for you. So on the very left, there's 3 houses, right? The very left, it's my house. The very middle is his house, his grandparents' house. And on the very right, it's his house. And it's like the second we both got home, we would just hang out as much as possible. Like we'd go over there and, play games all the time, just hang out, do whatever, jump on the trampoline, go in the barn, whatever, right? And then on the weekends, we'd have cookouts. We'd play wiffle ball, if you guys know what that is. Yeah, you know what that is. You know how fun it is. Basically, it was just a really fun childhood. And, kids these days just wouldn't get that. Because, I look at my sisters growing up, and it's like, I got a phone when I was, I think, 12, 13, 14, maybe 15. But it's like kids nowadays are getting iPads and phones at like 5. And it's just like, it's not a fun childhood. Like kids these days really just couldn't relate to just going outside and playing in the backyard with their homies. And I don't know, that's really sad to me because it's also like the games that they have growing up on now suck too. Like if I was going to have a life, or I guess a childhood where I grew up in electronics, like I would at least want it to be good stuff that I'm watching or playing. But it's like all the old movies, all the old games are just way better. Like old Minecraft is way better. Old Call of Duties are way better. It's like, dude, like kids nowadays are growing up on Fortnite and Roblox. It's like, are we serious? Like that's what you have to play and you have a fun childhood? And I think the thing that's so crazy is I think this is really part of the larger problem. In a world where we're so connected, people have never felt further apart. That's the ironic part. Like in a world where everyone has phones, everyone has iPads, everyone can talk to each other whenever they want, people have never felt further apart. You know what I mean? It's like you'll live a couple of houses down from your homie, but you'll never see your homie because you're just too busy doing your own thing on your iPad. And I don't know, I just think that's really sad. But even when I was growing up, like I was still playing Minecraft a lot, but it wasn't ever like, okay, I'm going to call my homie on Discord and, we're going to play on our computers. It was like, hey, I'm going to walk down to your house and we're going to hop on split screen and we're just going to have a fun time. And that experience, like if you've never had that, if you're watching this video and you're, I would say under the age of, 15 or something, or I don't know like what age you would not be able to experience that at, to be honest. But if you've never had that experience of playing split screen with your homie, it's really kind of hard to describe it because on one hand, it sounds worse because like you're seeing half the screen instead of, having your own screen. But it's just so much better because it just felt so much more connected. You know what I mean? It's like when you see an old Minecraft tutorial world, it's like, like the textures of the blocks look horrible and, realistically, everything's already built out. So there's not really much to do, but it's like, it just feels so complete. It just feels so nice to look at, so nice to experience. And that's really how I kind of looked at really a life without phone addictions because everyone just had a much more connected life. And I would argue that most people are actually happier. And I guess this is kind of a side topic, but I just moved from my hometown about 7 or 8 months ago. And one of the things that I've realized since moving down here is people are much less addicted to phones. And it's really weird because people actually want to hang out. And, I guess when you're older, I'm 22, so people my age just kind of want to hang out and drink and, like do adult stuff. But it's like, it's still better than staying indoors and playing games with your homies, like online, And like, it's so weird to kind of like get to experience that again, where like people actually want to hang out and like actually do stuff and not just see each other once or twice a week and then talk online for the rest of the time we see each other. It's so refreshing. I mean, it's genuinely so refreshing. And I think for me, that's part of why I like the small town where I live, because there's nothing to do. And you kind of have to recreate that old school experience where you have to reconnect with people. Because, a couple of years ago, like I really did have that mindset of I want to get rich and move to the city. But where I'm at now, I'm like, you know what? I'd honestly just rather make that money and then stay where I am, because people here are more connected, and because they're more connected, like everyone is clearly happier. Like everyone is clearly happier in their lives. It's like I've worked 2 food jobs, right? One, I worked a fast food job where I used to live, and every time I saw people, like you could just tell people were miserable. And that was in a big city, right? Or I guess not a big city, but a bigger city. Like definitely not your small town city, right? And then I'm working another food job where I'm living right now, and the vibe is just completely different. Everyone is happy. Everyone wants to ask me questions, like not in like an egotistical way. It's like people just genuinely want to talk to each other and like learn about people. And it's not even old people too. It's not even old people who are like, oh, how's your day going, sonny boy? You make some good money today. No, it's like people just genuinely want to learn more about other people because there's less stuff to do. They've kind of almost been forced into, just doing, just talking to people. And like, I'm trying to kind of verbalize it. I don't think I'm doing a very good job at it, but it really is just so refreshing to just be connected to other people instead of your phone. And I think if a lot of people had that same mentality, we would be a lot happier as a society.